Joining us here on the Rich Eisen Show, Mercedes-Benz Vans phone line, is the man who is the head coach of the fourth-ranked TCU program, playing some big-time football, staring down a college football playoff berth. He is Sonny Dykes here on the Rich Eisen Show. How you doing, Coach?
Good, Rich. How you doing?
I am doing great. Let me just jump into this conversation with you about your history. Are you I know your dad being a football coach, but you're a baseball guy, right? Aren't you a baseball guy too?
Yeah. Played at Texas Tech. I mean, you could use the word played loosely. I was on the team.
Okay.
Hung around. But yeah, I kind of was a below average high school football player. My dad was coaching at Texas Tech at the time, and got into baseball. Really, we had a new baseball coach at Texas Tech, Larry Hayes, and was starting the program, kind of starting over and getting things going. And so they let me go out there and hang around for a couple of years.
Okay, so give me your best AB against somebody I would know. You got one?
Yeah, nobody. It'd have to be somebody on the Texas Tech team. Mark Brandenburg, made it. I think pitched. Ended up pitching in the World Series for the Red Sox. I think the year that they broke the curse of the Bambino. So he was on our team then, and it was a good player. Okay, very good.
And now let's jump into I guess your coaching ranks. When you were coaching at Texas Tech, right? You spent a few years on the staff. There was, if I'm not mistaken, Danny Amendola. Was he one of your receivers at the time?
Yeah,
Coach?
He was. Yeah. So
right.
I had kind of an interesting deal. Started out as a high school coach, went from high school to junior college to graduate assistant. Went to Kentucky in the late 90s with Hal Mumme, and I was Mike Leach's GA. And then Mike Leach my dad retired at Texas Tech. Mike Leach took the Texas Tech job and hired me to be the receiver coach at Texas Tech. And man, we had a really good run of receivers. Had Wes Welker and had Danny Amendola and Mike Crabtree, and had some really good players. So we were lucky to recruit some guys that ended up being good players.
All right, I need your best story of being the GA of Mike Leach. You've got to have one. Oh God, what do you got
Rich,
for me?
I could fill hours. I mean, it would be like this would need to be a podcast.
Well, I mean, the part
hours.
This is a podcast. This is a podcast too, and we're live radio and TV at the same time. But you got a good one, just something.
I mean, Mike was funny because he liked to go out. We would stay out late, and whenever we would go home, we would always hit up this fast food, whatever it was, whether it was White Castle in Kentucky, which, by the way, is terrible, but that, or if it was Whataburger at Texas Tech, which is actually, in Texas, which is actually really good.
Yes.
We would hit up the fast food place late. You're driving the car, and Mike goes, hey, orders the food, and then you get to the window, and you're like, okay, Coach, you got any money? He's like, oh, I don't have my wallet.
Oh!
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And so Mike's making like $4 million a year, and I'm like making like $40 a month.
So it was on you. You.
Well, don't get me wrong. Mike always took care of me, but
okay,
it would be on me for a while, and then he would pay me back at some point.
He'd make you whole. Okay, fantastic. Now, and by the way, now look at what you're doing right now, Coach. Let me get to hit the little Wayback Machine. I got to be honest with you. I'm watching the end of your game against Baylor, and I thought to myself, why is this man running the football right now? Can you walk me through the way you ended that game and why in Baylor, please?
Yeah. Okay, so it's funny because you get people that kind of reach out to you via social media or do interviews or talk to people, and I mean, we had a plan that we kind of put together, obviously, before we had the ball and before we got the ball. And Garrett Riley's our offensive coordinator, did a great job of being patient on that last drive. And, we needed to kick the field goal. We have a ton of confidence in Griffin Kell, our field goal kicker. And so, for us, we felt like we needed to get down to about, if we could get to the 20-yard line, we felt like he had a great opportunity to make it. And the thing that we wanted to do was get on the middle or the right hash on about the 20-yard line, okay? So that was kind of our objective when the drive began. We had about a minute and 40 seconds left and no timeouts. We spent all of our timeouts.
Yes, sir.
So there's a lot of things that can go wrong during that course of events. The thing you can't do, you can't get sacked, obviously can't throw an interception. You've got to be able to convert. And so, we were pretty patient moving the ball down the field. And then we got down to about 40 or about 50 seconds, and we ran the ball to try to get a first down. Okay, then we that took about 10 seconds. Then we clocked it, and then we had about 22 seconds left for third down. Okay, and our objective again was to get the ball on the right hash. We were on about the 22-yard line, or the middle of the field. So at that point, we said, okay, look, what can we do? We can throw a pass here. There may or may not be incomplete. We may or may not be on the right hash. Let's guarantee we're going to get the ball where we want it. Let's run the ball. Let's make sure we have our field goal team ready to go, which we call bazooka field goal, and we practice it every Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
So we handed the ball off, got the ball to the right middle, ran our team off. We practiced it every week with about 15 seconds, and this whole series of events began with 17 seconds. So had we had a long run and converted the first down, then the series would have gone different. Then it would have been, okay, we clock it,
mm-hmm.
and now we figure out, okay, now what do we want to do? Now you're probably going to take a shot at the end zone and do what you want, and then kick the field goal. So anyway, it kind of worked out exactly the way we had planned, and I think there was a lot of people that were kind of like, what in the world are they doing, and why are they doing it this way? But we had practiced this very situation over and over and over again, and all right, we felt like our players were comfortable with it, and we're going to be able to go execute it, and that's why it played out the way it did.
Bazooka field goal? That's what it's called? Bazooka? Is that what
yeah. It's, a lot of people call it Mayday. A lot of people call it whatever. We call it bazooka. I don't really know why, but that's what our special teams coach calls it, and so that's what we do.
Well, it worked. Bazooka worked. That's for darn sure.
It did. And like I said, it didn't look great. I mean, our field goal kicker kind of ran on the field a little bit late, and
oh boy,
it's kind of just what he does in practice every week too. He kind of goes out there late and doesn't mark his steps off, and just kind of eyeballs it and kicks it. And we had done it. I think we went back and looked. We'd done it 15 times this year. We'd practiced bazooka field goal, and he had made it 14 of the 15.
And thank goodness, obviously, this was one of the 14, Coach Sonny Dykes, because you are currently going into Thanksgiving week, a ranked fourth. I'm assuming that this is where you're going to wind up when everything is announced going into Thanksgiving week from the College Football Playoff Committee. I'll be honest with you, just getting a sense, seeing how Tennessee was lingering there. They're now dropping off, and I'm assuming USC will be right there. Do you get the sense the Playoff Committee is itching to get somebody else in there other than you? Do you get that sense, Coach?
I don't know. I mean, I think, I really have no idea. I mean, I appreciated them ranking us fourth. When it came out a couple of weeks ago, I think we went from 7th to 4th, or maybe 6th to 4th, whatever it was, and we've kind of held steady there. Luckily I wasn't here at TCU in 2014. I mean, I was getting my brains beat in at Cal at that time, but. But TCU went undefeated that year. We got as high as I think third in the playoff. Won their last regular season game 55-3, I believe, by 52 points, and went from third to sixth. And so there's been a history maybe of that happening to TCU. I don't know. I think it's a different time. I think it's a different league. I think the Big 12 has a different level of respect maybe than it's had in the past. But at the end of the day, I mean, really, look, we're going to have to beat an Iowa State football team this week that's really good, and then we're going to have to win a Big 12 championship game and beat somebody that we've already beat, which is really difficult to do. So we got mountains in front of us left to climb, and our hope is that if we can, do those things, that the committee will certainly recognize, the achievement that our players have had this year and put them in the playoff. And that's kind of out of my control, and so I choose to worry about things I can't control. Right,
and obviously, you do have a one game at a time mentality when you're a coach, and there's no question though that you also have, as you say, a lot of road in front of you. Do you play the nobody believes in us card? Do you play that with your team, Coach, a little bit?
It's funny. No, we haven't really, because we were picked 7th in the preseason poll, and so. Our players knew that, and we never felt like we didn't need to talk about it. I mean, I think we felt like that when we came out of fall camp that we were a good football team, but we had to prove it by going and playing well every single week. And, and I think we played Oklahoma early and had a really good game against those guys and had an impressive win. And I think at that point our guys kind of came off the field and were like, wow, we can be pretty good. Let's do everything we can to give ourselves a chance to win. And then, everybody kept saying, well, just wait till this happens, or just wait till they got to play Oklahoma State and Kansas State back to back, and we'll just wait till they get down. Well, we were down 17 against Oklahoma State and rallied. We were down 18 against Kansas State and rallied. And then it was, okay, well, wait till they go to West Virginia. They haven't won to West Virginia since 2012 or whatever it was. Well, we kind of did that. And then it was like, okay, well, they're going to get exposed when they go to Texas. And so our guys hear all that stuff. We've never talked about it one time. You're not going to believe me, but we have never talked about the conference standings. We've never talked about what anybody else says about us because, they thought we were terrible in the beginning, and we were not going to listen to them when they start telling you how great they are, how great you are. And so we tried to treat it all the same and just go try to win a game every Saturday and see where we end up.
Do you hear from LT LaDainian? Do you hear from him every now and then?
Yeah. LaDainian's around quite a bit. Yeah, he's been. Oh yeah. He's got a nephew that plays for us, who's a heck of a player, one of our corners.
Okay.
And so he's around all the time, and man, it's been great. He's been real inspiring to our players, and he's been a great supporter at TCU.
How great is that, man? You got LT around there.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. It's awesome when you get, one of the all-time greats that really loves the university and loves the team, and it's great to have him around.
Thanks for the time, Coach. I know you went straight from your press conference right to here. You've been talking quite a bit, and I'm sure you got other things that you'd prefer to be doing, but I appreciate the 2 cents and time to a couple minutes here. Good luck to you down the road, and let's connect again. Greatly appreciate it.
Okay, Rich. Again, thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
Right back at you. Sonny Dykes, the head coach of TCU football. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.